Oh, it's great to be here. Thank you so much to everyone who contributed. I want to say special thanks to Anne in Miami. She baked very early the first hour of EHS, which is quickly on. And I spoke with her at the start of the day, and she said, here's what I want to do. I'm going to call each day, and I'm going to get $100. 4 days, I'm celebrating every 40th anniversary. So I'm going to get $100 each day. So Anne thought about what we could do. She thought about how much she values education, and that's what she decided to do. Maybe that's not what works for you, but you can think about what amount works for you, whether it's a one-time gift or a sustaining. We have thank you gifts for everybody. Everybody receives our 40th anniversary sticker in the mail and monthly donation. The important part is everybody gets what they can. We have $500 left to raise before 9 o'clock. So when everybody does their part, that's a $100 contribution or a $10 contribution. And everybody does, that's what makes community radio possible. You can do your part right now at 205-662-8889 at WGNN.org.
The call of 240 is when you see you asking and owning.
Right,
So we exist in our community, and we have ways to represent the same of all people. We have a free, or anyone else who will believe with you. In fact, you're probably listening to WDNA because you also value your income. Listen, we're free together. We have to contribute to support. To support WDNA, it is a 305-662-8889 or WDNA.
Fun drive. Fun drive. Oh, we're having a good time this morning. Hope you're enjoying this kind of this gray and rainy, hopefully the sun will shine a little bit today. And just a little bit of sunshine. We've got 7 minutes left to get into our drawing for a mini kitty combo pack to Love Nail Salon. We're doing this in any amount before 9 a.m. and begin. With lovely speaker care, sugar scrubs for free, and soap and skin, shoe bath, lotion lathering with a hot towel to rock and moisture and whiten massage and hot. They've got facial compliance forms, Love Nail polish with strict standards and skin cleansing and social distancing, and they have locations in South Miami and Malibu. So make your donation now. And to thank you for being here to join us for the little competition in this time. When you donate in the next 6 minutes, will be entered to the weapon package. The webinar form will also be entered into our grand prize drawing message for the 2021 big Aphrodite Southgate. 305-662-8881 or WGNN.org.
This is never given to WDNA before. You guys aren't culture and community radio. Joining your first ever contribution. For us at 305-662-8889, go visit us online at SFWTG.org.
This portion community radio, it is a group effort, so please join in supporting WGNI with a contribution today. You choose community radio belongs to all of us, so let's all do a take care of it. Please don't count on someone else. Do it for you. Do it your part. 305-662-8889 WGNA.org. 5 minutes left in the hour. We'll be back with some music and BBC headlines. All of this is made possible by listening support. So while the music plays and as you listen to the news, stay informed. Make a contribution. Help us reach the goal of $500 restoration before 9 a.m. You can do it with your support. Invest in the music you love. 305-662-8889 WGNA.org. And thank you.
I used to visit all the days, but some was later, where one rises on the afternoon, so we went to get the girls I knew had come and so very and you can be there, you can see where they've been watch the waves of I thought for a while that you're going small.
Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Chrysler
Yes, sir. Good morning.
and Brian. Ready to
Morning.
play some tunes, huh?
Tunes, yeah.
Good morning.
Waka, waka, waka.
Hey, and Bob.
Good morning.
What a nice guy.
I like the picture of Ralph.
Yep.
What is that? That music in the background?
That's his jazz station.
Ah.
Saturday morning is jazz. And later it gets into Jamaicans.
It's called reggae, Dave.
Reggae, thank you.
All I care is you are still burning inside my
Hey, Mike, how's your traveling been?
Slow, buddy.
Huh? Are you back in Miami or Florida?
Yeah, we haven't gone anywhere. We didn't get called to Pensacola.
Oh,
Haven't made another call out since then, so we're where we are here. And of course, there's no cruising to be had.
no.
Getting feedback, Ralph, from your radio and something.
Try above the computer.
Ooh.
Hey, Dave Piper,
Yes.
did you see AAW had an email or something about ornamental tuning this week? Did you get that?
I didn't look at any this week yet.
Oh, okay. What it was is, they're just reviewing the old journal articles, but I thought you might find it interesting.
Yeah, I didn't look at my email yesterday. I looked at it this morning, saw a couple from some people, but I didn't open any AAWs. Thanks. I'll check it out.
Okay. I think it was AAW. Now, is that the Jackie Gleason cup that you're drinking out of?
No, it's the,
Jackie Gleason never had coffee in his cup.
no, yeah, I believe it. Now, this is the Chuck Wagon cup, but it's been put in the dishwasher, so you don't see Chuck Wagon too clear.
I got a moose cup.
There you go. Minnesota.
Oh, okay. No, Adirondacks.
Adirondacks. Mr. Siegley.
Mr. Piper, how are you, sir?
Good. I just quickie before we start here. I saw your email about the apprentice junior bushings. Have you got anybody have any?
Nope, not yet. Not that I mean, I asked the three of you.
Well, I went
You
through
guys make pens.
I keep manuals, instructions, all of them, and I do have the instructions for a gentleman's 2-pen, but it's from Exotic Blank, so I must have them somewhere. But the thing is, there may be something that's close, I don't know if this is the instructions for it. So a lot of times what I do is if I find one that's close, hopefully you want the bushing OD to be a little bigger than your blank. But even if it's smaller, I use my calipers and I've used that. So I'm sure I may have some that'll work. This 487 seems right. These dimensions seem like something I have. So
Yeah, I tested. I test fitted the ones that came close, and none of them fit. So that's why I was hoping. I mean, they were $3, but then shipping's $10.
yeah, I'm sure I'm sure I have it somewhere. I'll continue to look unless you want to bring the kit, and I've got a bag of bushings that I don't remember what they are. It's up to you. I can look for it a little more, but
I wouldn't spend too much time on it. I was just going through my box of pen kits, and it was the last pen kit I had in the box for now.
all right, I'll take a look. I mean, if I have the instructions on it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hola.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Joe.
How you doing?
Danny. Good morning, Danny.
Paul.
No? Paula.
Paula.
Hi, David.
How you doing?
Hi. Which one of us?
Yeah. Well, when she says that she gets 3 for 1.
That's
Three for
good.
one.
A 3 for.
3 for, huh?
Everybody doing well this morning?
Live and kicking.
Absolutely.
Yep, we're breathing.
Breathing
Woke up.
and upright.
There you go.
Right. We woke up, so that's a good thing.
That's right.
Hey, we're all just either eating breakfast, finishing breakfast, and having our coffee.
I'm having my coffee.
And
What we need is a virtual donut. Morning.
So David, do you know who else in the guild besides the three of you make pens or pen makers?
Well, Joe Dion does
Sometimes.
sometimes.
I haven't done a whole lot lately, but yes, I make pens.
Joe, have you done the what is Apprentice Junior from Craft Supply? I'm looking for the bushings for that. I got one kit, and that's the kit I've got, but I don't have the bushings.
Princess Junior, is that what you said?
Yeah, it was a Craft Supply.
No, Apprentice Junior.
Apprentice. Yeah. I usually do the PSI stuff, so that's what I have mostly for bushings.
Okay.
I did one, I think one pen from Craft Supply. Many years ago.
Where's Ralph?
I saw his bushy face a little while ago.
Well, he has a picture. He's got two active connections.
He's having trouble with his computers, and if that's what's happening.
Yes, we are having computer trouble again this morning.
Okay.
There's Santa Claus with the wood ribbons in his beard.
Hey, NPR was having problems on broadcasting this morning. They had remote issues, so it seems it's going around. Hey, Ralph.
Hey.
I've got my camera and I've got my cable. So can one day this week, can we call up and with Dave and you and me try to set up to see if my shop will work so we have an alternative site? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck's going on here this morning. Dave and I did a demo from my shop for the Broward Club, and halfway through, my old computer froze, so I switched over to the new one, but I had volume problems on the new one. So I brought both out this morning, and now I can't get the damn camera to hook up to the new one. So I have to
It was working Thursday night to the new computer. Yeah.
So now it doesn't want to hook up for some reason, and when I go into settings, I can't even find the damn camera. So I may log off on that computer and restart. Apologize, I'm running a little late this morning. I had a brain fart last night and set my clock an hour later than I normally do on Saturday morning.
It's November 1st. November 1st.
Yeah. So Ralph, maybe is there a way that you can take your old computer and just put it on the the headstock?
Well, I've got it over on the side, and I got the new one on the headstock, and the remote camera plugged into that one.
Well, what I'm saying is, instead of using the camera, is there a way you can position your laptop so you don't need the camera?
It's going to be real tough.
Okay, all right.
So I may end up having to do that.
Or do you have enough milk cartons where you can use that as a tripod for your?
Yeah, I can.
For the laptop?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Where would he sit then?
Say what?
That's true. You wouldn't be able to sit down then.
Well,
He's got a stool. He can get a stool.
No, the stool's back in the house.
Oh, okay.
So, and now the built-in camera on the old laptop doesn't want to hook up.
Oh.
So
there you go. There you are.
That one's working. So
that must be the old computer.
It is the old computer. I've got it over to the side where I had the computer the other night. So let me play with the other one for a few minutes. And
so that's, so that you got that one only on 2 cartons, right?
No, it's on 3.
3?
Yeah, so it's still too low. So give me a minute.
How about your bandsaw? Put on the bandsaw.
Well, that's behind me.
I know, but it's on wheels.
Yeah, but there's not enough room to roll it out there in front.
Okay, all right. Just trying to give you, that's it. That's all I got.
Offer. So let me play with this for a minute. Go ahead and talk whatever talk you're talking.
Ralph, why don't you do it like radio sports? Just describe what you're doing.
Oh, okay, that's exciting.
Hey, Red Barber did it for years and years. You can make it, you go from right to left, left to right,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. So I apologize. I'm totally unprepared. So
Do not apologize.
anyway, we may have a couple of guests showing up this morning. I'm sure. See some strange names and faces up there. Just say hello. One of them is a podiatrist. Various members of our group go to, and the other one is a guy named Jimmy Porter, who I know from Facebook. He's a member of the Treasure Coast Woodturners, and a very interesting guy, so he may show up. So let me mess around with my stuff here and see what I can do. Oh, much better. Helps. You guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it helps when you plug the camera into the proper port on a computer. Makes
Oh.
it a lot better.
Is that what they call operator error?
Yeah, operator errors, part, old timers. So, what we plan on doing today is a tool making project. Do my thing over here, and
Okay, Ralph, am I the only one who's not able to see you in big screen?
I'm not.
No, right, he's got to spotlight himself.
So let me. I'll spotlight myself in the thing then.
Okay.
Hey, there's Waldo.
Morning, Waldo.
And Jimmy. Don't leave, Jimmy. He's going.
There that goes. Yeah. Damn nice. And the that's the hell of it.
Morning, Jack.
Good morning. Hey, David, you're an Ansel Adams, Bob Butcher fan too, huh?
You got the camera working, Ralph?
Yeah, I got the camera working when I plugged it into the right port. Now, for some reason, I guess because I logged on the old computer, the new computer won't let me be the host. So let me see what I can do here. So I can't stop myself on that computer.
Hey, Jim, lean back. Let me see what's the rest on your shirt.
Sometimes it's more true than at other times.
Oh, yeah.
Especially now during these times.
That's funny.
All right, how the hell?
There it is, full screen.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to switch computers and hope that we can get through this without this thing freezing on me. So give me a couple minutes there.
Watch for that hole. Watch out for that hole.
Yeah.
Well, the spotlight's working.
Well, I guess it's working. All right, let's leave it at that. I'm gonna ask you guys to speak up. For some reason, the audio on the new computer does not want to work properly, so that's why I brought both. So, okay, back to where I was trying to go. So, like I said, we're going to make a tool today. Oh, geez, that's not working. All right, I'm going to switch to the other computer for this.
Camera's working.
Camera's working. Yes, audio's working. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right, let's give this a restart here. So, tool handle. These are some homemade tool handles that I've made using brass plumbing fittings for ferrules and end caps. Both of these tools are store-bought tools. This one's a P&N gouge I got from Australia through Packard. This one just a round blank that Will Riley got from Thompson and put the end on it and gave to me. Thank you, Will. This is a piece of, I believe, 01 drill rod that I got at a local supplier up in the Northwest. Right out of my brain goes the name. Dave Piper, you recall the one up there up on 72nd Avenue?
No, I don't. It's
I've got it written down. I'll do it, but I think isn't it Southern or something? No.
No, not them.
No.
I'll dig it out.
It may pop in my brain sometime today.
It's north on 72nd Avenue, just north of 36th Street.
Correct.
Off the Palmetto on the left-hand side.
They sell tools by the pound.
Yep.
It sounds like Simmons. He deals in a lot of stainless steel.
No,
it isn't Simmons.
It's all scrap metal. Scrap part. It's just drill bits and.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'll get you the link later on today. So this is a piece of hex bar stock that I drilled a 3/8 hole in to match the diameter of the drill rod. And this is a jig we use to make a point tool. Okay, which you want to grind all three sides. I guess you would say concentrically. So what I did is I drilled a couple of holes, capped them, and put set screws to lock the steel in. And that set my angle on my Wolverine system platform. Place this on there and grind it, rotate it, grind it, rotate it, and grind it. You can also use a 3/8 compression union plumbing fitting, but you'd have to drill out the center because they have integral stops to stop pipe from too far. And that's a real inexpensive alternative to making that jig. So that's that part. And that steel, the drill rod, there's different grades of drill rods, and you harden them with different processes, which is all easy to look up online. And I'll share links with that later. So this is just a blank of something that I'll use just for demonstration purposes. So first we'll start by getting it round. Got to get the PPP on.
Ralph, tighten up the tailstock. You didn't do the tailstock.
Ralph, you're bleeding on your right hand.
Can't hear you.
I said you're bleeding on your right hand.
Oh yeah, how about that? Amazing. Thank you. So,
Yes.
Check your tool res clearance. I'm gonna go ahead and get this down round with a little spindle roughing gouge. So I got the lathe in low gear, which is too slow to suit me. So give me a second to switch gears. That's much better. That's about 2,500 RPM. Now I'm going to get a tenon on one end so we can chuck this thing up in the chuck. You can use a parting tool. You can use a bidan. You can use a skew. Switch tool rest. Now we'll chuck this thing up. Using a spindle adapter so I can use my small chuck. Give that a little snap. That a little snap. Bring your tailstock up before you tighten it up so you're centered. Lock her down. So what I'll use for this one is unstable internet connection again. So these are nuts, plumbing nuts. This is a actual nut that you connect the supply tube to the bottom of a faucet with. And this one is a sticker nut, but it's actually a compression nut for a compression union or compression elbow, whatever fitting compression. And obviously you want to polish these up. These I just grabbed out of my scrap pile this morning in a hurry, being unprepared. So what I'll do is I'll take my calipers, and I see I'm frozen again. And set them to the approximate diameter. Set them sometimes a hair large, because we can always sneak up on it. And we'll come up here to the nose end of the tool handle and reduce that diameter down. Again, using a parting tool, a skew, would be Dan, whatever you like. wood is bone dry, very dusty, so I'm gonna soak it with a little mineral spirits. Try and keep the dust a little bit. Give that a second to set in.
Ralph, if you adjust the camera angle so we can see what you're going to be doing.
Pardon?
You adjust the camera angle so we can see what you're doing.
That better?
Much better. Thank you.
A little more down.
A little more down?
Yes. That's great.
Perfect, thank you. All right, let's see if I can splash this crap all over me. So I normally hold the calipers in my right hand and the tool in my left, and I kind of grip the tool like that so it's supported by my forearm. So it slips over. And what I'll do is I'll pull the tailstock out of the way and check it. So, too big. So we'll go a little more. A little too loose. So that's why I leave it a little bit longer, so if I miss, I got a little room to play. Thin parting tool, I'm going to remove just a little bit of this material at the end. That way it'll go through the hole. I can chuck fit. That looks pretty good there. So now what I'll do is drill the hole for the tool. I'm going to start one size under. And the tape was from another project. So that's my depth. So I'll remove that. Slow our speed down. And drill. Depending on the wood, you want to clear your chips frequently. You want to get it past the reduced section so that your steel is embedded back here where you have full diameter wood. Check your fit. It's too tight. So switch to an actual 3/8 bit. Clean it up. Okay. Good and tight.
Yeah, right there. I can turn it off. No, I can't.
I'm just trimming that off, that little nub off.
My hand on video.
Check my fit on my ferrule. Check my depth. We need to take a little more off. This is a little too long. A little round. So you get the fit right, because this is a threaded fitting. You kind of screw that on there. Leave it slightly tapered or not. And what I do on final assembly is I use Gorilla polyurethane glue, as it expands and fills any gaps or looseness. Also use that in seating the actual tool steel in there, or sometimes I use the Gorilla super glue, which is kind of thick. I think the polyurethane's better. Excuse me a moment, gotta take a sip of water. So, what I'm going to do here to get this thing centered back up is put my cone center on my vibe center. With the dirty threads. Interesting. Try the other one. Okay. not a lot of pressure. You don't want to split that. There's something to support it. And we'll go ahead and shape our handle, whatever you like. Using a 3/8 spindle gouge. Always cutting downhill. To remove the bulk, I'm going to switch to my smaller spindle roughing gouge. You can actually do a lot of the shaping, all of the shaping with this tool. So, go back to the spindle gouge, and this is an option, of course. You can just round the back end over and leave it plain, like tools you buy, or you could add a cap on the end, which is the same process as doing the nose end. So we'll do that. Reset the calipers. So now, obviously, check our fit, make it fit. We're gonna have to part this thing off, flip it around, put it in a different chuck. So right now, I'll do a little quick sanding on this. Before that, what I'm going to do is check my fit up here at the front. Because you want to, I think I got it pretty close here. You want to flow this handle into the ferrule. Find a wrench. Almost perfect. Close enough. I could have left this a little bigger and then tapered it in. So, but it's not bad. So, at this point, take this back off. Part this off. I'm not going to take it all away until I remove the tailstock. So that we don't bind up. So I, being left-handed, will hold the tool in my left hand and hold the piece in my right. I know a lot of guys that are right-handed do it the opposite, like that, which I personally find uncomfortable and a little more dangerous. Now, you don't have a different chuck with jaws small enough to grip the nose end. What you can do is with this leftover end here, Turn that down. The size of the one undersized drill bit. And get that live center out of your way. So just in case you don't jam your elbow on the point. This is the same thing Dave Piper showed us the other night with his demo on the tulips that he uses for driving nose. That fits right up on there. Now, it's a little tricky, but get your center. Or not. Close enough. Have a little cockeyed tail. All right. A little wonky, adds character. So, readjust. And size accordingly. Too big. A little more. Probably too much. Yeah. So, but good thing about that is that Gorilla Glue will fill it all up and tighten it up anyway. And we need to make it a little bit longer. So we'll taper it so it'll fit up a little better. That's right. So now what I'll do is blend that a little better to that. I'll push it on there a little bit with a block. Using the tailstock as a press. There we go. Good tight fit. Back to the spindle gouge. Now, you can also just sand this, polish that up. Of course, it's only going to polish the points, so you need to put it on a wire wheel to really clean the whole thing up. But you can also, if you want, you can machine these with the regular high-speed steel tools. They will cut brass, they will cut aluminum. If you want to round this off more, I have done it. I like to leave them just the way they are. So the next step, obviously, is apply some finish, if you like. So what I will do is put a little wax on this. Normally I just use base wax on my handles or some oil or something. So you don't want to run it down there and glue your ferrule. What I'm doing is I've got it spinning up and I'm putting a good bit of pressure on it till it heats up. And that said a bit. Pardon?
What was your applicator?
Repeat?
What was your applicator? What were you applying the finish with?
Piece of green Scotch Brite. So it has a little bit of abrasive to it. I don't know how much after being used, but I use a piece of green Scotch Brite. You can use maroon, whatever color you got. And the wax I'm using is in my opinion, the crap that they're selling at Home Depot now, since they quit selling min wax products. To me, the min wax was a better consistency. This stuff is too thick for me. I don't really like it. I don't know if you noticed how much liquid was coming off. But it finishes out pretty much the same. It's just a little more trouble to work with. So when I use up that can, I'll go over to the other store that carries min wax and buy some of that. Or you can get it online on Amazon for a decent price. So you can take a paper towel and varnish that up after it sets a few minutes, or you can grab a handful of shavings. Put some good pressure on it. Just be careful so you don't get burned. I'm gonna just keep this handle. It's not bad. Piece of mahogany. That's really not bad looking at all. So obviously next step is to try and get this off. She just unscrews. So what I would do now is take these to the wire wheel or take them to the buffing wheel and clean them all up, make them nice and shiny. Apply your glue, screw it on. Same on the other end.
Ralph, got a question on that glue.
Yes.
How much do you put on so that, or do you clean off the foam afterwards?
What's that?
On that Gorilla Glue that expands?
Yeah.
I've had pluses and minuses with it. How much do you put on, or do you clean it up afterwards with the expanded part?
Yeah, you want to kind of put a minimal amount because it does expand. And that's another reason I drove a hole for the tool a little deeper so that it has somewhere to go inside the handle. And then what I do is I keep an eye on it. And as it's expanding out of any gaps, visible gaps, I wipe it off with a rag. I keep looking at it.
I've also heard that it activates by water. Do you spray any water on it at all?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give the inside of the hole and the ends a little spritz with a water bottle because it activates definitely by water. So, that's what I do with it. And once it cures, whatever it had seeped out, you can come back carefully with a razor and clean it up. A little wire brass brush, sandpaper, whatever you like, or you can just leave it sloppy. Kind of like this one came out. I didn't quite, you can see it. The little line right there where, that should good little cleaning up. So,
but that's the glue coming out.
Yeah, that's the glue coming out. So, put a little shot of glue and put your tool in.
You use the Gorilla Glue to glue into the handle too.
All right, yeah, I use the Gorilla Glue for everything. Putting the tool in the handle and, gluing the ferrules and everything on. So, I'm not going to glue this right now, but so now we have our homemade custom handle 0.38 tool, which probably cost, I don't know, $30, $50, $40, $60, depending on what brand from the catalog. And, the drill rod comes in 3-foot lengths. So you can make a bunch of different tools out of it. And last time I looked online, 3/8 drill rod was under $8 for 3 feet. So you can also buy from Doug Thompson his tool steel I think he's using, I believe, V10, which is a very excellent tool steel, holds an edge for a long, long time. You can buy blanks from him, like Will did for this tool, different diameters. And, obviously they considerably more money than the drill rod. They're better steel, and they're already heat treated.
The funny part is they're not that outrageous if you buy just the blank round rods.
No, that's
from
true.
him.
They're not that expensive. So I will, give you links to all of this suppliers of the different materials, and later on today sometime. And that way you have some options. Anybody that's so inclined to make their own tools, which I enjoy making tools and jigs and fixtures for various things, probably as much as I enjoy the actual wood turning aspect of it. So I think that we're done with this part of the meeting.
Great job.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you, Ralph.
You're welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
I know some of you had requested different projects. I have a few in mind. Dave and I were talking last night, Dave Piper, and one was hollowing. So depending on next workshop, I believe the next meeting, Ozzy is here today.
He was.
He was. Let me,
He's still online. Shows he's
Good morning, I'm here.
You are, okay. I believe we had you scheduled for the next demo at the next official meeting.
Yes, the resin demo. I'm all set up. I ordered a bunch of extra resin to demonstrate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's all not the same length.
So either at the next workshop, unless somebody else wants to do something, or the next meeting, I can do
Pull yourself together.
a small vase possibly. And what I thought I'd do is combine not only hollowing,
Get over there to help
but
yourself.
I don't think anybody, I actually did years ago, back when we were still meeting over at Cutler Ridge Middle, where we had our meetings in the classroom, David Freundlich's classroom, when he was teaching over there. I did a little demonstration on making a box out of palm. So I thought I'd combine doing a little palm turning with a little hollowing. So we get a twofer on that one. So that'll be coming up. Another one that I want to do is making a donut chuck. And then another one will be making a, I guess you would call it an eccentric ball chuck, which is again made out of plumbing fittings. This is a 2-inch PVC compression coupling. Some people call it a union. And you use half of this to make an eccentric chuck. So you turn a wooden ball to fit in here, and
Today is Charmander Community Day, so if you don't have a shiny.
what's that?
Oh, sorry. I was talking to Braden.
Oh. So you make a wooden ball in there with a hole in it that you can put a spigot on and do various offset eccentric turnings. A whole nother world of wood turning, which I've done a demo on off-center turning, a multi-axis turning, which we can get into in the future.
Ralph,
Yes.
another idea for the off-centered turning or the multi-axis turning is, I don't know if anybody's seen, to tie into the handle that Ralph made, you can do an off-center turning so that the end of the handle is three-sided, if you will, and therefore won't roll off a counter or a lathe or something, and it just gives a different type of fit for a handle.
Actually, that was another one I plan on doing. I had thought about it today, but I was a little lazy in preparing, so I didn't go there. But yeah, definitely that is something. Actually, I forget which issue. Maybe one or two issues back in the AAW magazine, they had an article on that. And it's basically the same thing as a demo I did some years back on those twisted goblets that Barbara Dill does, where you set them on 3-axis or 4-axis, and depending, you know, you can obviously do it straight, point to point, or the one that I did with it was a, you know, take off on what Barbara Dill does, is you actually go not only offset, but you don't go with the same axis on each offset. You twist your points so that the handle is not only offset from center, but it's actually rotating eccentrically. I think that's the right word. So, you know, these are all things that I'm happy to do in the future, or if anybody else wants to jump in there and do them, feel free. Not quite sure how long we're going to keep doing these meetings virtually. I have emailed Scott over at the school. Dave and I have both contacted him, Dave Piper. And I sent him an email, I believe, a few weeks ago. And to please let us know when I can come in and fill out the paperwork that we need to renew to hopefully keep using the school for our monthly Thursday night meetings. I have not had a reply from him. Obviously, anybody involved with the school system right now is extremely busy. Very hectic times, of course, with, you know, temporary closings and cleanings and, you know, COVID pop-up at different schools at different amounts. So unfortunately, I think we're going to be dealing with this for quite some time.
You know, and along with that, Ralph, I think we're going to be the last online, because they would, I would imagine they would hate to have us come in and contaminate the school, you know, if one of us was positive, and then have to close it for students. They're having a hard enough time with just students.
Exactly. So, yes, that's where I was going with this. Thank you, David. That's exactly right. As much difficulty as they're having dealing with the, of course, most important thing is the students and, you know, and the staff staying healthy. Yeah, we would definitely be the last in line to get back into the school. So, but I'm, you know, trying to keep the doors open. And I think, I don't know how many of you know, I know we've announced it, Dave Piper's announced it, that Scott will be retiring next month. So we will have a new contact to deal with over at the school. And hopefully it'll be a good working relationship, as it's always been with Scott. Obviously, at this point, there's probably no chance of having our December dinner get together at the school. I'm thinking of some options depending on how people feel about it. And I guess it's also going to depend on how I'm going to go ahead and say it, the China virus is doing. I'm considered, and I don't know if it would be available, of possibly we could have some type of potluck or barbecue get together during the daytime on a weekend, maybe over at Larry and Penny Thompson Park in one of the shelters. Don't know if they're going to be available, but I'm going to look into it so that we can kind of continue on with our normal schedule, even though we're not quite normal.
Ralph, right now the shelters are closed.
I know they're still closed right now. So, you know, we're gonna have to see what happens, or maybe we can find somewhere else. We'll just have to see. But I'm gonna definitely do some research and look into it. And if it can't happen, then it can't happen.
Well, one thing we could do is everybody cook up a nice Christmas meal or holiday meal, and we could do a virtual holiday meal like we're doing here.
There you go.
But Ralph, I'll miss the sushi.
Yeah, me too. Well, I can go buy some for me. So, anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. Anybody got any questions, any input, anything they want to show?
I can show a bowl if you want to see.
What's that?
I've got a bowl I can show and then show at the meeting as well, but.
Fine.
All right, let me go get it.
Actually, I got some. I don't know if I showed you guys this before or not.
All right, I don't know how well this will show.
Wow.
If I hold it back further.
Ralph, spotlight yourself.
Are you able to see that, everybody?
Yeah, let me take the spotlight off.
Wait a minute, I can't hear. Try it again.
Let me take
That's beautiful.
It's spalted maple with Howard's, because this is going to be used as a salad bowl, so I just use Howard's on it.
That's a salad bowl?
Well, salad, fruit bowl. They wanted a big family bowl.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's a big family. And it's 17 and a half inches by 3 inches deep.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So this is a mahogany bar stool seat, 13 inches in diameter. This one's a little skinny. This was my first attempt. This is about an inch thick, and the customer, this is for a commission for a customer. So they wanted them a little thicker, so I made three. They wanted 3 of them. And so I made 3 more that are 13 by 1.25 inches thick. I basically made them the same way we learned how to make the platter, where they recess in the bottom to hold them to turn the top side. So I start on the front with a faceplate, turn the bottom just like the platter, make a nice recess, and then finish the bottom pretty much, flip it around and finish the top. These are out of a piece of mahogany log that I got. This one only has some linseed oil on it. And they wanted them darker. So I enhanced the color with a little stain and then put some wipe on poly on top of them. And I'm not a big fan of it, mainly because I'm apparently not very good at applying it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong, but I can't get it anywhere near as nice as Joe Self and some of the other guys do. So maybe it's something I work on.
Now, what kind of legs? Are they supplying the legs or?
Yeah, they have steel legs. They showed me a picture of some steel legs and said, can you make me some tops for this and how much? And I said, sure. So I shot them a price and they agreed to it. And they said, well, what color? Da, 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 da. So I showed them a piece I had made a few years back of mahogany. And of course, as mahogany sits, especially if it's exposed to sunlight, it darkens up. So they said, oh, that's perfect. So of course, when I made these out of raw mahogany, they were much too light to suit their taste. So I darkened them up a bit. And so that's the story on that.
What kind of stain did you use, Ralph?
I used some Minwax.
Oh.
Actually, I can get to it. Minwax finish penetrating stain in red mahogany flavor, which I had to go over to Lowe's to get because now Lowe's is selling Minwax products.
Oh, they are? Cool.
Yeah, Lowe's is selling Minwax. Home Depot quit carrying it and is now carrying the Varathane brand, which is manufactured by Rust-Oleum.
Ralph, my experience with Minwax stain with building some furniture, I can never get it to work right either. I use a stain that it's, you know, everybody knows about General Finishes, but there's one that you could get like at OG Paint. It's called Old Masters.
Right.
Their gel, not gel stain, what they call a penetrating stain is much more concentrated than the Minwax stuff.
Right.
And I mean, it is great. You could buy it in little cans too if you're only doing small stuff. I mean, it is absolutely terrific for staining wood and getting like an even stain. I'm assuming it has to do with the dye or the pigment they use, but it's so much better than Minwax.
What's the name of it again?
Old Masters.
And where are you getting that?
You could pick it up at OG Paint. They're one of the main people that carry it around here in Miami. But that stuff is very highly pigmented. I mean, it's the only system I use unless the customer asks for something else. And when they ask for Minwax or Varathane, I feel like shooting myself in the foot because it's just so difficult to use. But just wanted to share my experience with it.
Thank you. Yes, that's good to know. Yeah, the Minwax can be a pain. They sell some kind of wood conditioner that they recommend you put on the wood first so that you get even staining. So that way you can spend twice as much on product and twice as much time doing the project. I did try some of the Varathane stain for another project I had, which was some chess pieces. I think I showed you guys a while back. And I wasn't super happy with it either. It just didn't seem to do the trick, like Ozzy said. So,
hey, Ralph, can you include Ozzy's recommendation for stain and where to get it in the notes?
Absolutely. I remember.
I recently did a bar top, live edge bar top, or mini bar top. It was very small for a customer, and he asked for the Varathane stain and poly combination, and it was like working with like honey. It was just the worst. And then the color didn't penetrate, and I kind of went with it because the customer really wanted it, and it was. I even told the customer, "I'll refinish it if you're not happy with it because it's just the worst stuff I've ever used."
Why are you, when you're taking the order, why do you even offer Minwax? Why don't you just have samples of the old Masters stuff and tell them this is what you?
I try, if the customer lets me do the way I want to, yes. But if they request a special finish, Usually I'll go with it because the fact that most of the time they're gonna go with something cheaper than what I'm gonna use, so it saves me money. But they want a particular look, and sometimes you gotta try different systems. So I kind of gave Varathane a try because I hadn't been disappointed with some of their other stuff. But this was just the worst I've ever tried. Was their stain and poly mix. It's just easier to do stain first or separate from your clear finish.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I mean, it came out very nice. I'll share a picture. Yeah. See, that's their actual wood stain. I'm sure that's a little bit better quality. But what kind of bothered me is it was very gummy, and it felt like if you put a glass or a beer bottle or something on top of the bar, it was going to leave a dent in the finish.
Huh.
So it was. I warned the guy, do not put anything on it for like a week.
This is the wipe on that I used on those stool seats. And what I did is I cut it about maybe 25 to 40, 30% with mineral spirits, trying to get it to work a little better. Maybe I should have cut it even more.
I've never liked Watco products. I've tried the Watco oils and stuff like that. There's that other product that I've, oh gosh, I could go run out and get the can that I've been real happy with. Let me go get it so I can show you guys. It's a good wipe on polish. I'll get it right now.
Yeah, the Watco I got at Home Depot, so that, you know, like I said, they're not selling Minwax. I have used the Minwax wipe on poly, and I've actually used and varnished it in, spinning on the lathe, and it didn't come out too bad. Seems like when I try and layer it on too thick, it's an issue. So it's obviously operator error.
You can make your own wipe on poly cheaper, Ralph. If you buy the regular whatever brand of polyurethane, that's the oil based, you just do 50-50 poly with mineral spirits, and that's usually thin enough to apply. I mean, I assume on a lathe, but when I apply it to like a flat top, it goes on very quick and it's dry within like less than half an hour, and you can repeat the process. It takes a while to build up, but it does work. When I do that, I buy it and I mix it in a jar a little bit at a time, so I don't waste a big amount of polyurethane.
Here's the material I've used recently. Armor Seal, and it's their oil base finish, and I've been real happy with it. But I've also done what Ozzy said with the poly, is mixed. I've done it where I've done 50-50 thinning, and then I've also done 75-25 to get a different type.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
That armor seal is really good stuff. One of the first refinishing projects that I did for a customer was a tabletop that I armor seal. It's back 5 years. It's still in amazing shape because it was a dinner table. The only problem I found, it was hard to get around here in Miami back then. I don't know if they got in a distributor. Now, how did you get it, Dave?
A friend of mine ordered it online, so I think I'm going to just order online.
Okay.
Yeah, because I haven't found it here either. But this stuff, I used to exclusively use Deft oil. And when Deft got bought out, I don't know who bought them. They eliminated the Deft oil completely, and you can't even buy it anywhere. And it was the best Danish oil around.
Ozzy, can you send me links later today, email, on the different products that you're using with and happy with, so I can forward them to everybody?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I'll do that. I was actually looking at a can of Deft lacquer that I bought recently. PPG apparently owns Def.
Oh, okay. Def, they're still making the lacquer. They're just
Yes,
not
and
making.
it's great stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
I love it. It's a great finish. But I've actually called the company that manufactured Def now and to see if they had any Deft oil left or if they were going to reproduce it. And they said no.
let me see. Okay.
Now, I also on this armor seal, I have buffed it with the Beal buffing system, and it really, I mean, it works real nice.
This is the brand that I use. This is the Old Masters. This is they call it wiping stain. This
Wait a
is
minute.
the one that's much better. I don't know if you guys.
I can't see it yet. Let me find you. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And what I usually do, it's so like highly pigmented that if I want it darker, I just like mix a little separate batch with a darker one, and it gets really dark. Like it's really good stuff. And they're wipe on, not wipe on, but they're water based. I don't have it available, but their water based stuff is actually very good as well.
You know, you can find these cans. I'm sorry, I had to get out and come back. I don't know if you mentioned this, but you can find these cans at some Ace Hardware. Ace Hardware still carries the lacquer in the aerosol cans. There's one down by, I don't know if it's by your area, Brian, but off of, I think it's Oak Cutler, Marlin Road. There's an Ace Hardware there, shopping center. It's the road that's on the way to.
It's on Frangio or somewhere,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
it's on the
near
way
Frangio.
to. It's on the way to. Can't think of it now.
Yeah, I get mine at Ace Hardware, the Deft lacquer. And they had the sanding sealer that Ralph was holding up, but when I went to the one store, they were out. So what I've been using now actually is this stuff. Let me see, turn my camera back on. Switch it around. This friction polish, the Doctor's Wood Shop.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's really nice for I guess stuff that's not going to be handled too much.
Now, don't think what I've done with the Deft oil, not the Deft oil, but the lacquer, is if you mix it 50-50 with lacquer thinner and then use it, you can use it as a French polish on the lathe, and it finishes up. You can, like a bottle stop. You're doing a bottle stop, you can dry it out and finish the whole thing right on the lathe, and it's wonderful. So, and like Ralph has it where he's got a brush in it in the bottle, and that way it doesn't dry out, and it's perfect. So Deft is expensive sometimes. I was lucky. I walked into Home Depot when they were discontinuing it, and I ended up buying 4 gallons and every spray can they had for $1 a spray can and like $5 a gallon of Deft. So I'm still working on that.
Well, now anymore when I buy it, I go online, and I can't remember if it's through Amazon, but you just search for it online, and a lot of places that you can buy as many as you want, 1 or 2 or whatever. Shipping's free. So it's close to $8. It's cheaper, almost as cheaper than what you buy it here with tax and everything else.
Yeah. Now the only thing about Deft is it is flammable. So I mean, you want to do it in a really open air area, and not with a live flame, gas flame or something. That's while it's dry, it's flammable. After it's dry, it's fine.
I did find something with Deft recently. I was spraying some handles for some wooden handles like the ones Ralph was making today. And it was funny, when I was doing a coat at night, I don't know if it was the humidity, I got some hazing in the lacquer finish. And I guess it has to be that.
That's exactly what it does. Moisture will melt the color, and so you want to be careful on that. But the nice part about Deft is you can buff it out with the Beal system and get it clearer that way as well.
Okay. That's. Oh,
Yeah,
now that you mentioned. Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
other thing with Deft is we used to use, it's a fisheye. Oh God, what is the name of it? It was an additive. If you're spraying a lot of Deft and you don't want fisheye, the little round things that come in, there's an additive that I can dig out. And we used to do it when we were spraying a lot.
You would add it to the like if you were spraying through a gun, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. With the buffing system, I keep having a problem when I'm buffing woods that are dark with the white diamond portion of it getting like into the grain.
Yeah.
And leaving little white spots. I mean, I'll end up like scrubbing it out with a toothbrush or something. Is there a way to prevent that, or is that just part of the process?
Does the wax, when you're using the wax buff, I've had luck where I've buffed it out with the wax. The white diamond.
Right. Okay, the last step would buff it out. I hadn't tried that yet.
Oh, you've got to try. Oh, you got to try the wax step. Or there are times, to be quite honest, I'll do the triple E and then go to the wax if it's something that I'm afraid that the white won't come out. If you're doing like an oak or something that has a real open grain, I'll skip the white diamond.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you. This has been a great workshop, Ralph.
Thank you. So, anybody else got anything?
Yes, I've got something I want to show you guys. Can you hold on for one moment?
Sure.
I see Paula,
While
your
we're
dog.
waiting on that, Ralph.
Sorry, David?
I said, I see your daughter's checking us out. We got to behave now.
Yeah. She was asking about Ralph.
Hello.
So,
All right, here.
Hi.
Still walking and talking.
Hey, Paula, I saw you were selling some stuff at West Elm. How's that going?
Good.
My wife actually has done classes there and sold the sugar cookies that she like decorates to make them look very artistic.
Really?
And yeah. So when I saw on Instagram that you had that, I was like, oh man, that's really cool. So we've been there on like 2 occasions. One to when they do the little like I forget what they call it, but it was like a little mini fair they do selling the sugar cookies. And another time we went during the weekend, did a class at the store.
Nice. But they are not doing anymore because of COVID.
Yeah.
So
Yes, yeah. I was kind of disappointed by that.
Yeah.
But that's still very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was happy to be invited. Like,
Yeah, they're very supportive of the crafts people and artists locally. I love that.
like they have a corner for small producers here in Miami. So they call me, and I was very glad to be there.
Yeah, there's a gentleman that he's been doing stuff for them for a few years now. His shop is called Crafted, I think it is, and he does that whole rustic woodworking, and he sells a lot of his stuff there.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know him. I'm gonna check on him.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
You and your daughter have the same pose. You can tell she's your daughter, yep.
Oh, now you scared her away.
Oh, well.
Que a gente tava assim, ó, just the same. She's back to school this week, so we are very happy. Both are
I'm
back.
Oh.
I wanted to kind of thank, Ralph and Dave and Sal and Brian have been pulling the lion's share for the past 6 months, figuring out how to do demos, figuring out how to get this online, and I kind of wanted to thank him somehow. So I kind of puttered around in the shop a little bit. Brian was one who helped me get started on this, so he's going to get a little, and Dave's already got one, but Ralph and Sal, I don't know if you're going to be able to see them, but the golden tool, the golden dimension tool, I made a couple of these. So we've got one for Ralph and one for Sal to say thanks, appreciate it. And
Great.
Brian.
Thank you for doing this.
And Brian and Dave already have one. Brian actually made his own, and he's the one that gave me the plans for making them. So, but for Brian and Dave, I made a set of wooden dividers that are about 16 inches long.
Oh, good, good.
And that'll go, because Dave, you got the other set when I had the bring back that we did.
Yep.
So
the other thing you gave me during the bring back was the what do you want to call it? The scribe for making drawing circles on a piece of wood.
This one.
Yeah, that one, yeah, that works good. I use that a lot.
And Ralph,
Yes.
this is an extra tool. If you want to figure out a way to kind of get some enthusiasm going, I'm going to give it to you, and you can donate it to the guild, however, and we'll get it to the guys somehow or another. So Sal, Ralph, Dave, and Brian, we're going to get these to you somehow. And thanks for everything you're doing.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
I actually, on that subject of a circle maker, travel points, whatever you want to call it, being in the plumbing trade, let me reach over here and grab something.
Oh, cool.
A compass.
This is what I've been using, and what it is.
Dremel points.
Dremel points.
They're Dremel points, but they're made out of what we call in the trade beam clamps.
Huh.
Okay, and what these are, they're cast iron clamp that has a set screw there with a lock nut on it, which clamps on the beam of a ceiling or the underneath of a building.
Ah.
Okay, and then it has a 3/8 threaded hole in it to put your all-thread hanger rod in for hanging your pipes. So I had some of those hanging around in my collection. So I said, well, I've got this little thin piece of scrap that I had ripped off of something, another project I was making. So I just clamp them on there, whatever diameter I want to make. And my center point, I use a long drywall screw and just barely screw it into my center, and then shove my pencil through the other hole and make my circle.
Perfect.
So, but I think the nice all wooden one is more classic design.
Well, the nice part about these is all you need is a flare pin. I drilled the holes so they take the whatever 3/8 flare pin, and that way you use the set screw and the flare pin, and you get a good mark.
Perfect. That's even better. The flare pen's not going to break the point like the pencils do.
No.
On the rough piece of wood, and it's a lot easier to see. So those will work out great. Thank you.
I'll get those to you this week and try to disperse them by the meeting.
Sounds like a plan. So, anybody got anything else they want to share? Or questions about anything wood turning related, that is, for the most part?
Very productive meeting.
Thank you. And thank everybody for attending and attended this morning. And if nobody's got anything else, I guess we'll wrap this up.
Ralph, I'll get in touch with you and Dave, and we'll try my camera out in the shop, and so we'll play with that if that's okay this week too.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds good.
And Brian, you still want pictures of everything for the newsletter, correct?
By what date?
Yes.
Can we send it ahead of time for the next newsletter?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Send
I've already sent you October or whatever, November.
October.
October.
You haven't got the October newsletter yet, because
We haven't? Oh, okay.
shortly. Shortly.
Do you want any pictures and stuff from today for this current newsletter we're going to put out?
Sure.
Okay.
That should be done within by Sunday. Sunday is my goal.
Sunday.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Hey, they've been spectacular.
Yes. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Dave Piper, for all the work you do on getting that newsletter out to us.
They've been spectacular.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's because you guys take good photos.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. The Photoshop photos, right? Okay.
yeah. I don't have to manipulate them too much. Fun.
So,
Fun to do.
Brian,
Yes.
how much you gonna charge me to come over and do a mural on my house?
Yeah. I did that like 9 years ago. Oh, for everybody who doesn't know, there was Facebook, sends you photos, hey, memories of a long time ago, and I reposted it. I'd done a little mural on the back side of my house.
Ah.
Yeah, I originally, when I first saw it, I thought it was actually inside and you were standing next to a window looking out.
Oh.
But obviously I was backwards because it's on the outside, I guess the window looking in.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't
For those
window
of us-
behind you, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's good.
For those of us not on Facebook, can you post that or put it somewhere we can see?
Yeah, I'll send you an email with it in there.
That's because the painting of the door looked like a painting. It didn't look so real.
Yeah.
Put it in the newsletter.
This is a non-turning thing, but if on Netflix, there's a documentary called Social Dilemma, I think it is. It's on social media. If you've not watched it and you have grandchildren and people like that, it'll scare you. So, but it was very well done.
Isn't that what Netflix documentaries are supposed to do, is scare you into doing something you don't want to do?
Yeah.
Because I stopped eating bread because of one of those documentaries a while back ago.
Okay, guys. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Ralph, and thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for your continued support, and I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting.